We also need to look at week 15. How interesting does that look right now? Well, we are about to find out, and it starts on December 14th, and we get the pleasure, the privilege of watching Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell. Chargers coming in after a tough loss, and somehow the Raiders are favored at -3, even though they couldn't even score 3 points last week. Who do you like in this game? And do they cover?
I can't promise they cover, but what I can say is that whose offense has played worse? Has it been the Raiders or has it been the Chargers? I'm curious, what's the over-under in this game?
34.
Okay, that sounds fair. I don't know who to pick in this game, but I'm going to go with a team who's been slightly less disappointing. I'm actually going to pick the Raiders in this game. I'm not going to pick whether they cover because I don't even know. Maybe they just score 3 points this game, and maybe the Raiders. I don't know. I don't know exactly who's going to win this game. I do know that Easton Stick is not going to inspire the locker room of an already defeated Chargers locker room and a defeated fan base in the Chargers fan base. But at the end of the day, the Raiders, I think they've played better defensively than the Chargers have. And I think that they should be able to do better against that Chargers team. So give me the Raiders in like a, I don't know, 14-10 game.
Yeah, Raiders 14-10. That makes sense. I'll go Raiders 8-3. The Chargers have only scored 6 and 7 points in their last 2 games. I can't imagine they're going to get too much better with Easton Stick up your butt playing in this game. So I think just the Raiders should be able to get a safety on defense and 2 field goals in this game. And I think they get to 8 points versus 3 for the Chargers. So give me the Raiders in this game because I have to pick someone because other than that, I can't keep handing out ties every week. That would be fair.
Hopefully it's just a tie.
And then starting this week on December 16th, it is the first week of no college football. So we have football on Saturday now. So we have the Minnesota Vikings on the road in Cincinnati. Cincinnati Bengals are favored at 3.5 points. Who do you like?
I mean, who can score more than a field goal in this game? I know a team that can. How about we pick the Cincinnati Bengals? Jake Browning, I know he got banged up, but I think he should be good to start in this game. So I'm going to assume that he is playing. And if he is, I'd like the fact that they have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and a good defense. I take the Bengals to win this game comfortably.
Yeah, I think the Bengals win this game too. I like the Bengals because they have one of the best defensive lines and front sevens in the league right now. And they're going up against the Minnesota Vikings team that's basically calling people off their couches to come in and fill in an offensive line. They were down to their last offensive lineman Sunday, and TJ Hawkinson was about to play offensive line there if anyone else got hurt. So give me the Bengals at home. I think they keep this 3-game winning streak alive and have some more momentum into the playoffs here. So that's why I like the Bengals, and I think they cover at 3.5. And then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the worst teams in the league, 3rd worst according to the Brickyard podcast, and they just lost at home to the Patriots. They're now going on the road to a frisky 7-6 Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts are favored at 2.5 versus Pittsburgh.
Look, they are the 3rd worst team according to the Brickyard. So I have to go with that logic because I know that our top 5 teams are the most accurate, and I know they are the most accurate form of information on the internet. So if that's the logic I have, then I have to pick the Steelers to lose to the Colts because they got the mustache and they got Michael Pittman and they have a much better defense. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, so I'll take the Colts as well. I expected them to lose in Cincinnati. I thought they were also due for a loss. I think they'll be able to regroup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers team that's reeling right now. And I think I have enough faith in Gardner Minshew. And I honestly think that 2.5 point spread is disrespectful to the Colts because you're basically saying that the Steelers can keep it even with Mitch Trubisky, which is not fair at all. So give me Gardner Minshew over the MVP. And then the 8:15 game on Saturday is going to be the Denver Broncos taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Lions are favorited -5 in this game.
This will be an interesting game. I think the Broncos probably need this game more. However, we have seen the Lions lose and bounce back with a win. So I'm going to go with that same logic. This is I think the Lions are a better team overall. Give me the Lions to win in this game. Although I do think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be lower scoring. Give me the Lions to prevail, though.
Yeah, I think it'll be a dogfight, and I think important thing to note, Broncos are coming off another road game. I think back-to-back losses have been back-to-back road games have been tough for teams and have usually led to losses here this season. So I think Detroit needing a win, revamping their confidence, and they've come out swinging every time they've lost a game. So Detroit off a loss usually comes out because you don't want to irritate Dan Campbell and have him on your ass week in and week out during practice. So I think the Lions win this game, but I think the Broncos cover the 5-point spread.
Same.
And then we have the Chicago Bears going to Cleveland, taking on the Cleveland now led Browns with Joe Flacco at the helm. And then we have the Bears, Justin Fields playing for a job next year, Matt Eberflus coaching for a job next year versus Cleveland, and the Browns are favorited at -3.5.
I think that's a fair spread. I think there's something in the air in Cleveland, and it might be MGK's coffee shop. We don't know. But I also think it's the magic of Joe Flacco and how good he's played since he came in for him. He can actually throw the football. I like the Bears and how good they played defensively, but give me the Browns because I think the Browns are playing for a lot more and they want to stay at that 5 seed.
Yeah, Cleveland has been winning a lot. So I think I like the city as a whole has, and I think this team feels different with Joe Flacco. I think if he's being efficient, getting rid of the ball quickly, that'll be enough to get it done. I do think the Bears cover, though, because their defense has played better over the past few weeks. So I think this will be a good test for the Browns if they can get up for a team like the Bears at home, and a good test for Chicago to see how far along have they really come since they've started to kind of metaphorically get back on the tracks here. So I think it's like a 24-21 type of game here, maybe 20-17, but I'll take the Browns. And then we have another big test this week. You want to talk about a potential playoff matchup or two teams that are going to make the playoffs and want to see how far along they've come this season. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Green Bay to take on the Packers. The Packers are currently favorited at -3.5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a big divisional win, potentially could fall back out of that number 1 spot. And then Green Bay Packers want to get back on and continue the race in the wild card. So huge game for both teams.
Yeah, huge game. Could go either way. I'm going to lean the Packers in this game. I think that they had some missed opportunities in that Giants game. If their kicker can make a field goal, then they win that game. Jordan Love's been making some beautiful throws. So I'll lean the Packers here. Very young team. They had some mistakes. Had they gone their way, they win that game. I'll take the Packers to win. Although it being very close, I'll say like 20-19.
20-19. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a pretty much expected score from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially on the road. I'll go with Green Bay in this game. I think they need to get back on track. And I think at home, they definitely have the advantage versus a team that thrives in a dome or plays in Florida. So I think outside in Green Bay isn't really going to be Tampa's day. So I think the Packers win roughly 24-21 and then cover the spread.
Okay.
And then we have Chiefs, Patriots. Chiefs are favored at 9.5 points on the road in New England. Do I even need to say any more?
Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid off of a loss. Patriots trying to lose. Come on. What is there to talk about?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs have to win this game. Do you think the spread is way too big, or?
I think it's appropriate. There's a chance the Patriots cover the spread. I think the Patriots will cover. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's be like 20-14, but overall, the Chiefs have to win this game. If they lose this game, they're going to get bullied next week.
I think -9.5 is too big, especially for a Patriots team that's been playing really well on defense against a struggling Chiefs offense, especially going on the road to New England, I think is always tough. So I'll take the Chiefs, but Patriots cover the spread here. And then we have Atlanta in Carolina. Atlanta's favorite, I guess, at 3 points.
Hey, you know what? I said this last week. I'll say it again. Carolina, if you want to win one more game, beat the Saints or the Falcons. You're familiar with these teams. Here's your chance. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
Falcons should win, but Panthers, if you want to win another game, here's your chance. Here's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, it has to be against one of these two teams. I guess I'll take the Falcons because they could potentially go back into the division lead there. And then, yeah, they'll cover at 3 points. That should be easy enough against a team as bad as the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then we have Tommy DeVito, the Giants, whatever they're cooking up there. They have the results. They have the respect. and they're taking that respect to New Orleans to take on the Saints. But the Saints are favored at 6 points at home versus the Giants. And Tommy DeVito, you want to give him more respect than that 6-point spread?
Oh, that spread. It's despicable.
It's disrespectful.
It's despicable. He spit in my mama's face. I'm taking the Giants in this game. I like what they've done. They've won 3 straight games. I think they're riding high. They're loving Danny DeVito, or should I say Thomas N. DeVito. So I'm going to pick the Giants in this game. Let's get the Saints out of the playoffs. Hell, throw out Jameis for all I care. Give me the Giants to win their 4th straight game.
4th straight game, Tommy DeVito. Yeah, I like that. And I think that spread is disrespect because the Giants will win this game, or at least make it a 1-score game here. And then the Jets on the road, taking on Miami. Dolphins are favored at 9 points here. Zach Wilson playing like his job doesn't even depend on it because they already benched him. So what does it matter? He's taking his gunslinging arm to Miami. Do you think the Jets have a chance, or do you think Miami covers?
Look, if Zach Wilson can play as good as he did last week, like he played against a tough Texans defense is a hell of a lot tougher than that cupcake defense they call in Miami. So there is a chance, and I do smell an upset, and I'm going to pick the Jets to win this game because their defense can shut down that offense. If they can contain, or if there's a hobbled Tyreek Hill, I think that hurts their offense a lot. And if Zach Wilson can avoid the turnovers, I'm going to pick the Jets to win this game.
Yeah, I just feel right now Jets should win this game, especially if Tyreek Hill is hobbled. That's advantage Sauce Gardner. And the last game was kind of in the middle of that Zach Wilson debacle. And Miami's defense has underperformed here. There's cracks in the armors. And I think the Jets defense morale has to be boosted, especially after seeing Zach Wilson have a really good game. So I think they'll definitely cover the spread here. I think Miami should win this game, but Jets upset definitely in play.
Absolutely.
And then the Houston Texans, after kind of getting embarrassed in New York and East Rutherford, New Jersey, taking their talents to Tennessee, facing off against the mayonnaise Tennessee man himself, Will Levis, coming off a signature win, dare I say, on Monday Night Football. Titans are favored at 2.5 versus the Texans.
And this is in Tennessee?
Yep.
I'm going to pay some respect to the Titans here because they really impressed me with this game against the Dolphins here. I think they're starting to get some rhythm with D-Hop and Mayonnaise Boy. So I'm going to take Will Levis to beat the Texans, and Texans most likely falling out of the playoff race after this, losing Tank Dell, losing Nico Collins, really hurting that team.
Yeah, I think the Mayo Master has a lot of confidence right now, and he'll be able to carry that into this game right now versus the Houston Texans. So I think, especially with how their defense played versus Miami, if you can go on the road and do that to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I think without Tank Dell, Nico Collins being banged up, and then being able to contain a sometimes limited run game in Houston, I think it's going to be 2 tough losses for the Texans. But they've played well during the season. They've showed themselves as tough competitors, so I think they've earned enough respect this season, but the Titans get the victory at home, cover the spread at 2.5.
Okay.
And then we have the San Francisco 49ers as 14-point favorites in Glendale, Arizona. No.
We already know. 49ers cover. The Cardinals get annihilated. There's 2 teams that Kyler does not beat, the Niners and the Rams. And who are they facing? The Niners. Give me them to cover.
You know, for a guy you paid $260 million, I feel like it'd be important to prove that he could beat the 2 best teams in his division, who he's supposed to be paid to, beat in his own division.
That would be cool. That's an important feature of a franchise guy. But yeah, I mean, we don't even go over that game. Come on now. 49ers win.
49ers win. And then Commanders on the road in LA versus the Rams. The Rams are 7-point favorites here.
As they should be. I mean, Commanders suck. Sam Howell has regressed. And the Rams should have won last week. So give me the Rams to win. They're fighting for a playoff spot. Commanders are fighting for a draft pick. So.
Yeah, Commanders fighting for a draft pick here. And then I think the Rams definitely win. They're on the playoff push right now. Their offense is starting to kick into high gear with Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua. You have a legit trio there, and I think Puka Nacua has only turned it up as the season has gone on, and he's looking explosive. So I think the Rams turn it up another notch versus the Commanders, get a win there, hang in the wild card race, and then we move to Dallas in Buffalo. The Bills are really in win now mode. They have to win most of their games or they're going to miss the playoffs. And they're 2.5-point favorites at home versus Dallas.
So I think there's something there. So the Cowboys just had a big win against the Eagles, right? And they're playing their best football. I think the Bills, they just beat the Chiefs, but it wasn't quite the same kind of game for them. I can see the Cowboys coming back a little bit flat against the Bills, especially coming off of the high of beating their division rival. I'll pick the Bills in this game to beat the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a dogfight, but I think Josh Allen does prevail. Although I do think he throws his interception in 10th consecutive game. But give me the Bills here. They move up in that wild card race, and the Cowboys fall.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because the Cowboys did face Philadelphia, and that was kind of their foe they needed to beat. And then San Francisco wanted to prove they could stomp out Dallas, and then San Francisco kind of had a slump after they beat the Cowboys so badly. So I could definitely see the Cowboys being hung over. But with that said, Buffalo hasn't shown enough for how dominant Dallas has been, where Dallas would have to take a major step back from the football that they've been playing right now. And it seemed effortless to dismantle the Eagles at home, to say that they're going to take a massive step back, forget everything they just did versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and then Buffalo, with how much they've underachieved this year, barely beating Kansas City in Kansas City by 20. And then they couldn't stop scoring. So I think the Cowboys defense can shut down Buffalo and they'll win this game and then cover the spread here. I think they can win by like 5 to 4 points here.
What's the spread?
2.5.
Okay. I'll take the Bills to cover, but I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be close, especially because the Cowboys are on the road. But I think this will be a good test for both teams.
Absolutely.
And then we have the Ravens on the road in Jacksonville, 3.5-point favorites versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, Trevor Lawrence recovering from that injury on Monday Night Football.
I think the Ravens are due for a loss in this game. They are currently the 1 seed, and they have a 1-game lead over the Dolphins. I do think that the Jags are playing for more right now, although obviously they're playing for seeding at this point. I think both of which are locked in. I do pick the Jags to win this game. So Ravens 10-3. I think they had an opportunity to lose this past week. Give me the Jags to win this game.
Yeah, I'll take the Jags to win this game as well. I think with Kyle Hamilton being banged up in that game versus the Rams and Jacksonville losing 2 games in a row, but Trevor was able to come back, still threw 3 touchdowns without Christian Kirk there. And then they're able to get Evan Ingram going a little bit, able to get Calvin Ridley going. And then with Travis Etienne, I think this will be a really good test for Baltimore, but on the road at home in a must-win situation for the Jaguars, I think this will be a really good game for them to rebound. I think it'll be close here, but the Jaguars were able to edge them out at the end this time. So I'll go Doug Peterson over John Harbaugh in this game. And then I think the Jags cover because I think it'll be 3.5. I think it'd be a field goal game.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we have Philadelphia. They get an extra day of rest this week. They play on Monday Night Football, and they're going up against the Seattle Seahawks, who have now lost 3 games in a row.
Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts after a loss. I like the Eagles here. I think that, they kind of got smacked around by the Cowboys, but at the same time, on the Seahawks side, I don't know who can contain A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith right now with how inconsistent their team has been. And they're rolling out Drew Lock. So give me the Eagles here.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles as well, especially with the Seahawks. They've been reeling just as much as Philadelphia. And you want to talk about the perfect gift off of coming off a brutal stretch here where you face all of these heavyweight Titans and then it all comes to a head on Sunday Night Football. You get an extra day of rest and then you get to face off against not only a team that is reeling and has lost 3 games, but Geno Smith struggling with an injury right now. And then you have Drew Lock, who's starting, but Devon Witherspoon just got injured last week. So
That's
he was
true.
a corner who is now banged up. So that's a situation where Dallas was pretty much able to cook them with CeeDee Lamb. So I think A.J. Brown has a bounce back game. Philadelphia is able to get some mojo going on offense, and that could be some momentum that can re-spark them to go ahead and then beat the Giants twice to finish off the year. So I think this is the perfect matchup for Philadelphia off of that brutal schedule.
I agree.
And then do you think Seattle covers
What's the spread?
4?
4? No, I think the Eagles win and like a touchdown.
Yeah, I think the Eagles can win by a touchdown too. So we'll go Philadelphia to win there. But looking forward to all of these games this week.